How has music been affected by American culture throughout history of the 1900s to early 2000s? John Philip Sousa, from 1854 to 1932, is how long he lived, and he is considered one of the most iconic figures at the time. He was director of the President's own United States Marine Corps Band, and he also conducted 136 marches, 15 operettas, 70 songs, and many other pieces of music according to the Dallas Wind Symphony. Oh, oops. Totally messed it up. He was an extreme icon of the time because this is a time after the United States had gotten out of its first foreign war on foreign soil with the Spanish-American War. It was an extremely prideful time for America. So a lot of his songs, like the Stars and Stripes Forever, like you just heard, were extremely Americana, prideful songs that showed a happy America and a strong America. Now moving on to the late 1910s to the 1950s, enters jazz, ragtime, and swing style music, which was a very happy club style music, even though with the World War II going on, World War I, the Great Depression, it was something that people could look forward to kind of still keep their spirits up. It was a very happy time with the Roaring Twenties, a lot of club style music, just a lot of dancing, and so forth. And here is an example of the music even after everything in the 50s. The time was still a happy time despite everything that was going on. I mean, you had the Great Depression, World War II, a lot of negative things, but people still looked to music for our enjoyment, basically, to kind of keep their hopes up and to that there would be a better life beyond. Moving on to the 1950s to the 1960s, we enter into the world of rock and roll. The introduction of Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, and the Everly Brothers to the world started showing a different kind of music, going away from the more club-style music to just an individualism of music, of people just being a more expression of themselves and how they feel. Music began to become more widely known due to radio and several other technological advancements. The electric guitar and stuff was introduced. Amps and other electric equipment was introduced for music. It just greatly made it into concerts and other forms of music being put out. And there's just a clip of one of Elvis's songs at the time to show just how music started to change and a shift. Oh, it went. Son. Play. It became, again, it was still more happy music at the time, despite getting into the mid-60s and late 60s. They still had, it was more like dance music, club music, and so forth, a happy time in America. But then we progressed to the 1960s to the 1970s, when rock and roll started to change to more of a dramatic and political view. There was an unwanted war with Vietnam and several other events going on at the time. A lot of people started going into more political style music, fighting for civil rights and many other things in the war going on in America. So just have a little example of the song Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Oh, and I just totally clicked it off. Never, maybe? don't know why it did that. That's the first time it's done that. Also, at the time, you started having all these just political bands starting to show up, putting out more political songs. For instance, you have CCR's Fortunate Son, which is literally talking about how there are less fortunate people in the world that are forced to be sent to war because they're not born into higher families or, political families and, so forth. It was the time of the draft and several other things. People were being sent off to a war they didn't want to be in. Then we come to the 1980s and the 2000s, whenever there was a economical boom in America. The music started to change into a shift of being more happy again, more club-style dance music, with pop music rising. New forms of music started to come up like hip-hop and rap, just, more individual excitement and happiness in America. The music started to greatly affect that, but that does not mean that the political views were still gone. You still had a lot of bands at the time, especially rock and alternative rocks, that were still playing political music against several wars we were going in and out of, just a ton of stuff going on in America. Still civil rights movements were still going on in America. Despite it being in that time of history, this stuff still existed and music still expressed it greatly. And that's just wanted you guys to all know that culture and music pretty much go hand in hand in America. If something's happening in America, music reflects that. And if something's happening in music, it reflects in American culture.